Okay, what do we want to look at today? Do we want to look at Marvel, some DC, some Transformers, we got some Superman villains. Let's look at Zod. This is a short showcase of one of my older custom figures. I love the DCUC line. One of the characters I always thought was missing from that line was General Zod. This is, of course, is a DCUC style General Zod as he appeared with the War of the Superman storyline in the comics. I made this figure way back in 2013. I made this back when I first started trying to learn how to use epoxy sculpt to sculpt the details on a figure. And it's one of the first few figures I started to learn paint faces. The base figure for this custom is a DCUC Batman with a Captain Marvel Shazam forearms. The lower legs are from a Young Justice Sportsmaster. The belt is OMAC, and the straps on the legs that go up to the belt are from Young Justice Red Arrow. The head and hands are from DCUC Samurai from the Super Friends. I did have to do some minor sculpting, like I mentioned. This is one of the first few figures I started doing sculpting with like this. With the newly sculpted parts, I sculpted the shoulder pads. I raised the sculpt up for the front of the torso for the separation between the black and the gray, and I sculpted the insignias on the chest. These are drawn in with, I used a .005 fine pen, art pen, and drew on the designs and a clear coat over top of that. Then I did a dull coat on the head. This is like one of the first heads I've actually painted the eyes. When I first started doing customs, I never thought I would be able to paint eyes because I tried to avoid that for the longest time. I also resculpted the hair. This is an earlier trying to learn how to do hair. I've gotten better over the years, but this is... I modified the sculpt on the goatee where to make it fill in, where the samurai has the separated mustache from the lower chin goatee. I sculpted to connect that. I resculpted the forehead, the hair, and basically everything else was just paint and finish. And it makes a nice little addition to my Superman villains. The raised up sculpt continues on the back. To be one of my very first, way back in the day, first painted faces, it took a little while to get the face where I liked it. I repainted his head probably about 4 times. I kept making it too friendly looking. I wanted to make it look more stern, give it the Zod appearance. The reason I used the samurai head, back in the day, the head selections were very limited. They're a little easier to come by nowadays, but I thought start with just a little bit of resculpt on the hair and the goatee and the correct paint job, and I think it makes a pretty good Zod for back in this era. Oh, and I also sculpted around the neck to make the collar. It goes raised around the neck when he's got the V cut here. For an earlier custom, I think he still holds up pretty good on my DCUC shelf. Hope you like this little look back into the past, what I've done previously. I may end up doing a few more of these showcases on some older customs I've done, and maybe even just some older figures. If you like this kind of stuff, please like, share, subscribe, and I'll see y'all next time.